style. And we're so glad that you've joined us on KXEX 1550 AM. And we're heard Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 6. We talk politics, education, religion, technology, sports, values, and healthy communities, and just about anything you want to talk about. You can also catch Good News with Larry Powell, nothing but good news stories, Monday through Friday at 10 and at 4. You can catch us on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, you got it. We got a place for you to hear it, and you hear it at your schedule. So we're so glad that you're with us today. Folks, we're living in some really crazy times, and these crazy times sometimes can get you a little bit discouraged. But one of the unique things that happens here at Powell to the People, where civility is always in style, is we talk to some really interesting people and give you some insight into some great things that are happening in our community. And today, I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Liz Garvin. She's Vice President for Advancement at Fresno Pacific University, and you're going to like what you hear, and we're going to talk to her right now. Liz, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Larry, for having me. We're so excited to represent Fresno Pacific today with you.
That's cool, isn't it? Yeah,
it is,
yeah. And you just recently came on board, and we're going to talk a lot about your current role as we get to our fourth segment today. And it's exciting to think about the plans you have for the university, helping to raise money, to provide services, to provide for the kids of the Valley, to provide for communities and things. We're going to hear a lot about that. But I want to start off with just a little bit about you so folks out there know who you are and what you're all about. Where were you born, and where'd you grow up, and where'd you go to elementary and high school?
Yeah, I love it. So I am a Fresnan, born and raised
I
in
love
the
it.
Central Valley.
Good.
I grew up about a mile away from where we're broadcasting today.
I love it.
And I went to elementary school at Alice Burney.
Alice Burney, yes.
Alice Burney. I loved it there. Actually, it was there that I met probably one of my most inspirational teachers and really a pivotal part of my educational experience.
Who was that teacher?
Her name was Pamela Burt.
Oh,
and
neat.
I had the great fortune of having her as my fifth and sixth grade teacher.
Oh, that's cool.
And she's just so inspiring and really just spoke such great encouragement into me and really noticed the things that were different and special about me and made sure to tell me that often.
Isn't that cool?
It is so cool.
Yeah.
I can remember so clearly my sixth grade graduation, which I'm sure most people don't remember. But she actually made up an award just to give to me and
Wow.
Presented it to me and shared with, my family
Yeah.
and the friends that were there. She said it was most conscientious, and she just said she admired how I always went above and beyond and worked harder than my peers because it was just that internal drive.
She saw a precursor to come,
She did.
Yeah.
But it just stuck with me, and that's naturally who I am. But I think just seeing a teacher speak that truth
Yeah.
into me and encourage me, I never, ever forgot that. And I had the privilege many years later of sitting next to her by happenstance at a fundraiser.
Wow.
And I got to share with her what her teaching and inspiration had done in my life.
Yeah.
And I think she was a little shocked and blown away. But Pamela Burt. Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
And we in education, often as teachers, we don't get to see that. So sitting next to her, that's a unique thing when you actually get to hear from a former student that says, "You changed my life," or,
Absolutely. And she
you had
did.
an impact. Yeah.
She really did.
Wow.
And so it was a really a seat of privilege that day running into her. I'm
Cool.
so glad that I had that opportunity to reach back.
So where'd you go to high school?
So I went to Bullard High. So I'm a Bullard Knight.
Okay.
Yes. And like I said, born and raised in Fresno.
Yeah.
And had some great experiences there with wonderful teachers as well. And again, I can think of teachers off the top of my head that really were encouraging and just made high school both fun and a great learning experience.
I love it. Do you remember who the principal was?
At the time, I believe Mr. McDonald was the principal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stan McDonald.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a Vietnam veteran. He made his own helicopters and flew them.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know
he was
that.
quite an interesting guy, and Yeah, he was principal there, and he ended up downtown as well for a period of time. But yeah, principal, and then Danny Robinson
Oh,
was
of
the
course. Yeah.
assistant principal, and Danny's a good friend, Christian, and loves the Lord, and just a great guy.
Yeah, he
And
sure is.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story. He was moved from Bullard to Hoover, the Battle of Barstow, if you remember.
Oh, of course I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
And he was moved there as assistant principal. And at their first assembly, they had a contest of throwing a football through a tire across the gym. He was quarterback at Fresno State at one time, and he threw that ball right through the tire, and the entire group just went crazy. He became popular with an instant throw.
He
Yes.
was a great guy. I had a privilege of working with him. I was super involved in
Oh,
high
cool.
school student government and
Yeah.
cheerleading and just working as much as I could with the school. And I cheered with his daughter Brittany.
Yes.
And actually his wife was a teacher of mine at Tenaya Middle School.
Tenaya, where I was principal at one time in my career.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and Kathy
Okay.
worked for me there.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
She was a wonderful teacher. I got to take
drama and
exactly, improv from her. Yeah,
which really bodes well for what you do today because you're meeting people all the time and have to be up and ready to go.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. We never know those little skills we learn along the way.
That's
how they're
right.
going to help us.
That's right. Great family though. The Robinsons, just a great family. So, high school at Bullard. Tell me some of the things you participated in. I know you said student government.
Yeah, so student government. I had the privilege of being class president a few years
Yeah,
on
cool.
ASB, and then of course helping with leadership around campus and helping set up rallies and football games and all of that fun stuff. Very involved with that.
That neat.
I also had the great privilege of working with Bullard's special needs program.
Fantastic.
And just being a special buddy to those. I think probably if I look back, that was the highlight of my time at Bullard.
It can change your life, huh?
It really did.
And we think it's helping them, but it helps us more than those with special needs.
I'm telling you, those students were always the highlight of my day, getting to play basketball with them or as I was class president, we would welcome them to help sell baked goods at our baked goods sale or just come alongside of us.
Cool.
And they were a special part of my
Boy,
my
it
time
gives
there.
you an empathy for people, too, who are struggling.
Yeah.
You know, and in the job you're in now, we welcome everybody to Fresno Pacific. And folks, as you probably know, I'm on the board of trustees there, so want to let you know I love that place. You know,
it's hard not to.
Yeah, it's hard not to. But it is a great place to be. And when I was principal at Kings Canyon, which was one of the rivals of Tenaya, we had 20 kids who were in wheelchairs and had to use the lights fixtures on their head to hit the computer to talk for them because they couldn't speak. And so what I assigned was my toughest kids to work with them and to take them from class to class. And those kids never had a bit of problem from anybody because the tough kids were taking care of them and the tough kids got soft hearts as a result. So pretty amazing what happens with that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Larry, I love that story.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that story. I feel like inclusion of all students is such an important thing. And the funny thing is, all students can work well together and grow from one another.
No, exactly.
So I love that you did that.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. And it's fun. Some of those kids ended up being working in nursing homes and things like that because they were kind of on the gang edge of things, but they saw in themselves something that was unique, that they had an impact on someone who had it really tougher than they did. And it changed their lives, you know. So those are fun times to remember back to, no doubt about it.
Thank you for sharing that.
Any brothers or sisters?
I sure do. I have one older sister. I talk to her a couple times a day.
Yeah.
She lives in Southern California, but she's also a Bullard Knight and was raised here in town. But now she lives in Southern California.
Southern Cal. So what part?
She lives in Redondo Beach.
Redondo Beach. I have a brother in Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
Not
very
too
familiar
far
with Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
Yes. Great shopping.
Yes, and they have a university that is in competition with Fresno Pacific all the time, Vanguard University.
Yeah.
So part of our league and, those kinds of
Absolutely.
things. Yeah, really cool. Well, when you're homegrown, it's interesting. Sometimes you're not recognized as an expert in your own hometown, but that's not the case with you. And unfortunately, wasn't the case with me. We actually love people who were raised in Fresno, reared here, and we love having them stay here. And one of the goals we have with Fresno Pacific and training the kids there, the students, is that they stay in the community and have an impact on the community.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. One of the wonderful things about the university is definitely keeping that talent here. Who's going to be the
Yep.
next Larry Powell, the next Jerry
Liz
Dyers?
Garvin.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to keep that talent here.
Yeah, I love it. Well, we're going to hear more about that, folks. It's hard to believe how fast segments go here on the show, but we're excited today to have Vice President at Fresno Pacific University of Advancement, Liz Garvin, with us. You're going to hear more. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Powell to the People. Write it down.
If you're in a low, if you're getting sick, if you're feeling well, if you're getting up, if you just fell, God's love and faithfulness will always be the same. Some things never change.
This is Powell to the People on the best talk in town.
Hey, welcome back to Powell to the People, where civility is always in style. We're so glad you're with us today. We've done our first segment already. Hopefully you've heard it. If you haven't, be sure to go back and check on it on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, one of those listening opportunities where you can hear it at your leisure. You can also forward it to someone because we've got a really special guest with us today. We've got Liz Garvin, who is the Vice President of Advancement for Fresno Pacific University, and you've just been on the job for about 3 months now, or so, 2.5 months maybe.
1 month, actually.
1 month.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's quick.
Brand new.
Okay, brand new. We're going to hear more about that, folks, in our fourth segment. So be sure and stick with us. But we've been hearing a little bit about your story. Homegrown Bullard girl, Bullard Knights. I was a McLean, Highlander,
Yeah.
and student body president, involved in all those things as well. So I get it, and I just wish every kid had the chance to be involved in something at school, because it does change how you view yourself and how others view you as well, whether it's cheerleader, sports, academics, or whatever it is. You name it. If you're doing something special outside of class, there's something unique that happens in relationships that you develop with people. And so you and I both got to experience that, and how cool that
It's
is.
such a difference.
Yeah. Well, tell me, what was it like growing up as Liz Garvin?
So I was so blessed. I come from a family that is Bible believing and
Cool.
really
Where'd you go to church?
I grew up at People's Church. So my family started going there when I was in third grade, and
Yeah.
I went all the way through college.
Wow.
So I was super involved in all of the fun experiences. People's Church has an array of children's activities, a
Yeah.
great junior high program and high school program.
Yeah.
So I was privileged to be able to participate in Hume Lake, wagon train,
Oh, yeah.
and all of those fun things that People's Church provides.
Well, folks, I want to make sure you understand I'm a pastor at People's Church, but I didn't pay her to say all those things. So, so that was from the heart.
It was from the heart. It played, the church played such a wonderful and pivotal part in just my spiritual formation. Of
Yeah,
course,
cool.
I shared, I had the privilege of having a mom and dad at home who constantly pointed me to the Lord and
Yeah.
prayed with me. My mom really instilled the value of being a prayer warrior. I know that
Powerful.
it is so powerful. I could call her even away from call. If I was away at Sac State, I could call her and say, Mom, I'm having a hard time with this class.
Sure.
And she would just always say, Mija, it's okay. I'm going to pray for you right now. And sure enough, she would. And throughout the week, I'd get calls. I'm still praying for you. And she'd call the church.
Boy, isn't that cool?
And say, I called People's Church and they're praying for you too. And if you don't know, folks, People's Church has a great prayer line.
We really do. And every Monday, our entire staff gets together and prays for every need that comes in.
Absolutely.
It's really cool.
Yeah. I still, from time to time, will send over prayer requests, and even
Yeah.
we'll get a call from time to time from a pastor saying, just to let you know, Liz, we prayed for
Thinking
you.
about you. Yes.
Yeah, it's a wonderful ministry
Well,
to our
during
community.
COVID, we called 9,000 people.
Oh my.
12 pastors called 9,000 people, and we called them 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, we got through 'em most of the time. Sometimes we weren't, or we left a message and things like that. But you had mentioned Wagon Train.
Yeah.
All right, I got to share a story.
Oh,
Wagon
please.
Train is at Hume Lake,
Mhm.
and my wife and I were up there for our daughter, and we were counselors at Wagon Train. I spent a month there one week. It was. I'll tell you what, I can't keep up with junior high kids or elementary kids, and Wagon Train was one of those places. I was in the pool and I hit my toe on the bottom and broke it, and had to go around with a brace on one leg and a broken toe on the left leg for a week at Wagon Train. So I'll never forget Wagon Train. But what a spiritual formation time
Yes.
those opportunities at Hume Lake are, and
Yeah.
you got to experience that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Wagon Train, even up my church in Sacramento actually took their young adults to
Wow.
Hume Lake as well, and just such a phenomenal
Yeah, it's a great
opportunity
place.
to get away and reflect on what God is doing in your life. And
I love it.
I cannot speak just well enough of Hume
Yeah.
Lake. That place it has a special place in my heart.
It's cool.
I've had the privilege of sending my kiddos there, so it's
And
has
Fresno Pacific has done some things with Hume Lake as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We just
so-
took our brand new freshman class and welcomed them at Hume Lake
That cool?
right before the semester started.
Yeah. So we got a great connection there. So tell me about your relationship with your sister. You said you two are really close. How much older is she? Or
She is 7 years older than I am.
Okay.
And growing up, we were so different, and we probably couldn't be more different. But as we got older, we just became the bestest of friends. And
That's
so
cool.
I call her and talk to her about everything on the way to your show. I actually gave her a call, and she texted and she's like, "Are you okay? You're supposed to be at work." And I am at work. I'm just driving somewhere. So I had a moment.
Yeah, I love it.
And she was at one of I think it was my nephew's assembly, so she couldn't pick up. But
Okay.
yeah, she's walking with the Lord, married now for over 20 years.
Wow.
Has blessed me with a niece and nephew,
Neat.
fabulous
Neat.
athletes, and just so they bring me such joy.
Yeah.
Wonderful, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I have 2 brothers and a sister, and we're all old now, but we still get along really well. And all of us in Fresno, like I said, I got one brother in Costa Mesa, another in Sacramento, and then I've got a sister here. And
Oh, wonderful.
our mom is 99 years old.
Oh,
She has better eyesight than I do. She still has her driver's license. She does, conferences and speaks. And I mean, she's absolutely phenomenal. And she said, Larry, when I hit 100, I'm preaching at church that day. So she goes to North Park Community Church. And, yeah, really cool, really cool. But a lot of really good things going on. Okay, so let's jump a little bit to higher ed.
Sure.
So you went to Bernie Elementary School. You went to Bullard High School. You've participated in activities at Hume Lake, People's Church, and all of those kinds of things. What got you to Sacramento State?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Well, growing up in the valley, you think you have to leave. Of course, we had,
Yep.
and I came to find out a little later that we had some wonderful schools here in the valley. But my focus was government.
Okay.
And so I have a heart for politics and what's going on in our
Cool.
world, actually.
Yeah.
And so I had the privilege of going up to Sac State and interning at the time. Our hometown boy Bill Jones was the Secretary of
Bill
State.
and his wife are great friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Maureen was one of my teachers at Tenaya, and just
Yep.
phenomenal. And got to cheer with one of their daughters as well at Bullard. But I went off to Sac State and had the privilege of interning for him for a little while. And
Wow.
And I absolutely loved being there in his office and with his executive team. And it was actually one of his executive team members who invited me to a a fundraiser. It was a nonprofit fundraiser, and asked if I would like to volunteer. And
Yeah.
of course, Larry, when you're in college, you have to take every opportunity
You
to
do.
network and really start at the bottom and work your way up. So I was invited to do the registration at this event, and I happily did it. And I got to know the guests as they walked in, and thanked them for being
Cool.
there. And I'm an extrovert all the way, and so it's an easy position for me.
I love it.
And unbeknownst to me, there was a national fundraising firm that was there and was watching. And afterwards, actually,
You never know who's looking.
never know.
And watching.
They came up to me and asked if I would consider working for them, and I was like, well, I actually have a great job right now, and I'm
Yeah.
a student, very flexible at the Secretary of State's office. I don't think that I'm the right person for
Yeah.
you. And they said, absolutely, you are.
Wow.
And so, to make a long story short, I was swooped into Capital Campaigns, and that's the name of the firm.
Yeah.
And got to work on some U.S. Senate and Congress
Oh, how
races
exciting.
and presidential races. And it was so fun, and that's really where I learned my love for fundraising and the joy of getting to know.
Well, you can't
people.
be shy about fundraising when you work as a politician. And I was in an elected position as
Yes.
Fresno County Superintendent of Schools. My undergraduate degree is political science.
Oh, I love it.
I just, that's where life is, church, family church, and politics, you know.
I agree. I
Yeah.
had so much fun studying government at Sac State. I ended up ultimately getting a degree in communications with an emphasis in public relations and a minor in government.
Okay, cool.
And I loved every moment at my time there.
Yeah.
And of course, as you know, was called back to the Valley to finish up my
Boomerang.
graduate. Yeah, a boomerang.
We love those boomerangers,
Yeah.
Well, Bill Jones was the only Republican statewide elected official at the time.
Yes.
And fantastic job that he did as Secretary of State. And he and Maureen and I got to see each other recently at a funeral. But we get to run into each other once in a while. And what a great guy he is, and a great example of what can happen out of Fresno and for the Valley.
Oh my goodness, you said it. They are a wonderful family,
Yep.
full of integrity and just love for our state and for the people here in the Central Valley.
Yep.
I could not speak higher of
No
that
doubt
family.
about
They
it.
are fantastic. Yeah.
Well, folks, guess what? Our second segment is just about done. And time flies when you're just sitting here having a good time with a really neat person. We've been talking to Liz Garvin, who is Vice President for for Advancement at Fresno Pacific University. And I happen to be the board member representing Advancement there as well. So we get to work together and got a lot of good years ahead, I hope. We're really excited about what's taking place at FPU, and we want you to know more about it. We'll be talking about that a little bit. Stick with us and come right back for more of Powell to the People.
You're listening to Powell to the People. Write it down.
No matter what comes, no matter what goes, if you're on a high, if you're in a low, if you're getting sick, if you're feeling well, if you're getting up, if you just fell, God's love and faithfulness will always be the same. Some things never change the same.
This is Powell to the People on the best talk in town.
And we're so glad that you've joined us at Powell to the People, where civility is always in style. Remember, folks, you can catch us Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 6 at 1550 AM KXEX, owned by Guillermo Moreno and his mom, and Christians Love the Lord, great group. And boy, I'll tell you, want to hear a really good talk show, catch Moreno. I think it's at 4 o'clock Monday through Friday. And you want to be excited and informed at the same time. Catch Guillermo Moreno then. And he also joins me and Alan on Alan Autry's show at noons on Wednesdays. And he's here more often than that, but I'm on Wednesdays with Alan Autry on the Alan Autry show. So we got a lot of good things taking place. And you can catch Good News with Larry Powell, nothing but good news stories, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So if you want to be inspired, catch that. But Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, we got it for you. So, folks, check us out at your convenience and on your time. You can catch us on radio at our time, but you can catch us at your time as well. And we're back now with Liz Garvin, Vice President for Advancement at Fresno Pacific University. And Liz, it's really exciting. You had a lot of preparation that just made you the perfect person for this job. And in our fourth segment, coming up in just another 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to talk about that. But what jobs have you had, and what was your first job out of college? And you obviously had jobs in college, but your jobs out of college, and then what was the list of jobs that you had that led you to where you are today?
Yeah, well, we talked a little bit about my time at Capital Campaigns
Yeah,
and getting really my feet wet in fundraising. And that was my senior year at Sac State,
cool.
and absolutely loved it. I was asked to stay on full time, but decided to come back to the Valley. And at that time, my first job. So this is, my diploma hadn't even arrived yet. I came and I worked in the sales and marketing division for the Island Water Park.
Oh,
And
yeah.
people
Cool.
always ask, did you get to go in the water? And I never did,
Is that
but I
right?
got to work with the promotional pieces, the commercials, and
Sure.
then
Which were really cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fun place, and then doing those group sales. And my focus was on, as you can imagine, a perfect fit for me, nonprofits and churches.
Yeah, I love it.
And so working with those large groups and making special days for their youth groups
Sure.
and churches and offices and
We like to say that the churches are the largest business in Fresno with 500 locations.
absolutely, that is correct. And I
Yeah.
got to experience that at my time there doing
Cool.
sales, which really just worked very well with my fundraising career, because a lot of cold calling, and you can't be afraid
Yeah,
to just go after those big sales.
that's
And
right.
worked with a really great team there. And but I think I worked there 2 seasons, and then really just fell in love with the nonprofit world. I was privileged enough actually to work at a local nonprofit called Samaritan Women, now
Oh, yeah.
Rescue the Children.
Of course.
And I can
Very, very good
remember,
place.
it is a phenomenal place. God
Yeah.
is doing such great work there,
Yep.
transformative work. I can remember my first time hearing about Samaritan Women, and my heart, I think, grew 10 sizes when I learned about Samaritan Women and what they do in our community.
Yeah.
I could not even fathom that could be a real job.
And it comes right out of the story in the Bible of the Good Samaritan.
Hmm.
And Samaritan women do some amazing things.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I had the privilege of starting there, writing and working on their grants, and being a case manager and a director of development. Soon thereafter, I got to raise money for them, and then eventually becoming their executive director and sharing with the community
Wow.
just how they can get involved with this transformational work.
Yes.
I loved every moment
And
of
you
it.
know what? We have a huge need here in Fresno
We do.
with trafficking, with all of the things that are taking place. We have so many women in need, families in need, that we don't have enough resources. The ones we have are absolutely fantastic, but we need more support for the ones we have
That's
and more
right.
opportunities for folks to get help.
That is right. And I think just seeing that change of uh, I was often asked, why is the recidivism rate so much lower for Samaritan women graduates?
Yeah.
And obviously, Larry, you know the answer. It's because we disciple them, we introduce them to the Lord, and help strengthen that relationship. So
Yep.
it's a holistic approach. So just a wonderful experience there, and really
Yeah.
learning my leadership role as executive director. I still talk to my team frequently.
Neat.
Actually, my old team, I should say.
Well, you don't train and let go.
No,
You train
no.
and hang on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
which is cool.
still very good friends. Even just recently, one of my she started as a student intern and became a case manager. She just
Wow.
messaged me on LinkedIn to share. She has 2 kids now. She's working as a social worker here in town
Great
and
story.
doing incredible work. So I went from there and was able to work as a director of mediation services for the Better Business Bureau, and under the wonderful leadership of who I would call my work mentor, Doug Broughton,
Yes.
who recently passed
Passed
away.
away. He's a McLean grad.
He is.
Graduated in
Yeah.
65. I graduated in 66.
He
Yes.
talk about a phenomenal leader and
Yeah.
a transformative leader in our community
Yep.
and in our state, actually. And he just taught me so much about growing programs and not being afraid to
Yes.
step outside of the box. He's always pushing the envelope on Liz. How can you grow your program bigger? Let's do it. And just really encouraging me and really teaching me what it meant
Sure.
to be a brave and bold leader.
Yeah, I love it.
So I got to work with him for
So
several
you've had some good
years.
mentors in life.
Absolutely, I absolutely have.
Neat.
I could not have asked for better bosses
That's
and
good.
leaders. Doug, again, he really took the cake, though. He was a phenomenal person. For all those of you who knew him,
Yeah, good guy.
just a phenomenal guy.
Knew him well.
Mhm.
Yeah. So after that,
So after the Better Business Bureau, I had my best title ever. I got to stay at home for a few years and be a mom.
I love it.
So I always tell people, I think I was met with a lot of criticism, taking time off and doing so well in my career and choosing to stay home. I don't
wise choice.
It was a wise choice. I got to be home with my son and daughter for a little while,
Neat.
and I loved every moment.
So what are their
of it.
names?
So my son, Jack, is a freshman at University High School. Such a phenomenal place for him to be.
I've done baccalaureate for them and other things over the years.
It is a tremendous place. Yeah, they just received some really great national rankings. And
they're number 35 of high schools in the nation,
yes,
I believe.
Yeah, number one in the Central Valley.
Yes.
Yes. Being led by some great leaders over there.
Yeah.
And then my daughter is at a wonderful school here in Fresno Unified, Malik Elementary.
Yep.
And her name is Hope.
Hope.
Yeah.
Love it. Jack and Hope.
Jack and Hope. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So what does your husband do?
So I am divorced.
Okay.
Great question, though. Great question. So the Lord had, I'll say it this way: the Lord has taken care of me and my children.
Perfect.
And supported very strongly by my church along the way.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
It's the way it should be.
Yes. Yeah. I jokingly say my pastors probably should write a book on how to care for unexpected situations.
Cool.
But of course, in unexpected situations, the Lord has plans and just such favor and mercy on moms who are trying to do their best, and I can certainly share.
And what a tough job to do it by yourself.
Yes, and
you need an extended family. And
I
was
just gonna say I don't know that I could say by myself because I have such wonderful friends and family.
Yeah.
My dad included,
cool.
Who is by my side every step of the way.
Yeah.
And is such
chauffeur, counselor, you name it, encourager.
Oh yeah. And my kids call him the world's greatest grandpa.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, he spoils them rotten. And but definitely takes a community. I'm sure with any family setting, but with ours in particular, I have found such joy with the friendships that have come alongside of me.
Wonderful.
And again, my church.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. So after that job, you got back out of parenting. You never stopped parenting, but the full time. Tell me what happened next.
Yeah, that is such a great story. So when I somewhat unexpectedly became a single mom, I had to go back to work and set aside that stay-at-home mom hat.
Yep.
And I was hired at Fresno State. And Larry, I have to tell you, one of my favorite moments as the daughter of a king is driving to work one day, and I was listening to K-Love radio, and they were talking about the verse of the day, and the verse of the day it went like this: I have plans for you, even if you were told you would not believe. I can remember driving to Fresno State the first day and really feeling like, sometimes when you're reading scripture, sometimes it speaks really clearly to you, and sometimes not so much. But that day, I was right in front of Fresno State, driving down Shaw, listening to that scripture, crying because I was really sad. I had to leave my little ones at home, and just entered this beautiful season at Fresno State, working with some wonderful leadership.
Paula Castadio.
Paula,
Yeah,
and
good
I
friend.
got to work with Dr. Castro and Dr. Jimenez Sandoval.
Yeah.
All in my experience.
Dr. Sandoval was on the show about 2 weeks ago,
Oh,
3 weeks ago.
he's so wonderful.
He's a good guy.
He really is.
He loves the Lord too.
He sure does. Yeah, he and his wife, they are
Yeah.
amazing people.
Yeah, really cool. In fact, we've talked about all of the football, of course.
Oh my goodness, they are. Yeah, they're
what's
crushing
happening
it
there.
right now.
They're doing a really good job. Folks, you're listening to Powell to the People, where civility is always in style. My special guest today is Liz Garvin, Vice President for Advancement at Fresno Pacific University, another great university here in Fresno. And you're going to hear more about that when we come back. Stick with us.
If you're on a high, if you're in a low, if you're getting sick, if you're feeling well, if you're getting up, if you got spell, God's love and faithfulness will always be the same. Some things never change.
This is Powell to the People on the best talk in town.
Welcome back to Powell to the People, where civility is always in style. And you've been listening to Liz Garvin, Vice President for Advancement at Fresno Pacific University. And last year, I had the new president, Andre Stevens, from Fresno Pacific here. A couple of weeks ago, I had Dr. Jimenez Sandoval here, president of Fresno State. So you're getting to work with two people that I consider really key and amazing leaders here in our community. You got to work with Dr. Sandoval. You're getting to work with Dr. Stevens. Some amazing things are taking place at Fresno Pacific University. And the two of them know each other and like each other, spend time together and things as well, because they don't see it as competition. They see it as raising the level of the community by working together. So that's really cool. Now, you come with background both at Fresno State and now at Fresno Pacific, and bringing all this experience that God has blessed you with for now. So tell us a little bit about the job you got and how you got it, and what your dreams and hopes and plans for the future are for Fresno Pacific.
Yeah, well, I am coming home to Fresno Pacific. I have a graduate degree from the
Master's
seminary
degree,
there.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I actually have the firsthand experience of what it's like to be a sunbird and be in those small classes and
That's cool.
really getting to know your faculty and knowing that they care for you. And
Yep.
so much so, when I came to interview at Fresno Pacific, one of my professors who was still there said to me, "I knew it was going to be you." And, my last name has changed, but
Yeah.
he read my resume and he just knew me so well as a student
Oh, I love it.
that he knew that the person he was going to be, faced with in that
Yeah.
interview was going to be me. And that really says a lot with who our faculty
Very
are.
personal. It
and
is.
how they care for our students.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I
Now,
decided
that was a big interview because there were a lot of folks that applied.
yeah,
And so obviously we got the cream of the crop
well
in selecting you. So that's great.
well, thank the Lord that He has me for this appointed time. I am so
Yeah.
thrilled to be here, and it was quite the process, but so fun along the way, getting to know the board um, different faculty members and my now staff. Just a wonderful opportunity to get to know each other while I was coming on board.
Yeah. Cool.
Now being here for a month, I do have such big hopes and dreams for the university. Of course, starting off with my singular focus, which is fundraising for our great students and faculty.
Yep.
And that is done, of course, by getting alumni, businesses, churches engaged with what the Lord is doing at
Yeah.
FPU.
Now, you said something to me when we talked a couple of weeks ago. You said, I don't have time to wait for a plan. We have to get in and go now.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty insightful, to have that concept that fundraising doesn't start 6 months from now.
No, yeah, it starts now. Yeah. So I just, encourage all those sunbirds listening and church leaders to support our only accredited faith-based institution here in our
Here in
valley.
town. Yeah.
We all know education is such a pivotal role in our lives. we are home to a lot of first gen students, so it's not only pivotal in their lives, but it'll be pivotal in generations to come.
Yeah. And
Andre,
Fresno Pacific is a Hispanic serving
it is a
institution as
Hispanic,
well.
yeah. So one of
Huge number of
the
Hispanics.
wonderful thing that, of course, being an FPU alum, I know, but one of the things that I really want to share is that our students in the Central Valley deserve a private education. I know so oftentimes that
Yeah.
people think that money is going to be a hindrance, and private schools are for legacy students, but that is just a myth that I want to dispel
I love
now.
it.
FPU is we are open enrollment. We are here for the Valley, and everyone deserves that private and specialized education.
Yep.
And again, what sets us apart is the faculty getting to know each and every student. Um, it is amazing. I can be on campus and just watch faculty by name welcoming students, to campus for the day,
That's right.
and of course the students that get to live on campus get to know
It's a
each
great
other. So
experience.
it is such a
Yeah.
great experience,
Yeah.
yeah, and where we are housed in such a neat part or pocket of our community, the South Valley.
And a new building was just put into use,
Absolutely.
which is an arts and performing center.
Oh my goodness. If you haven't been there, you know what? I invite all of you. We have
Yeah.
an upcoming event on October 5th. We actually are hosting an art hop to
Love
kick
it.
off our homecoming event we call Gather, 5 to 8 o'clock. Be at the Workington Culture Center. It is breathtaking. And again, you don't have to be a sunbird to come by
Yep.
that day. It is
You got a black box in there. You got theater.
yes,
You got everything you can
yes,
imagine.
beautiful art. So that day, October 5th,
Yep.
we're going to be hosting Art Hop.
Wonderful lobby.
Oh my goodness! I just encourage every art lover, every alum, to just come and take a look at what's going on in that.
Let's repeat
center.
that. It's Gather 23, Thursday through Saturday, October 5th through the 7th, connecting meaningfully with our alumni and community. Boy, it is something you really want to be involved in. And where can they go to get more information so that they can pass that on as well?
So fpu.org /gather. They can learn of the specific events happening that weekend.
Cool.
Because if you are an athlete, a former athlete of Fresno Pacific, you're going to want to know, when your teams are meeting.
Yep.
They have some fun alumni games that are happening.
Cool.
So yeah, you definitely want to check out that. And we have a great choir performance that's going on one of the evenings as well, and basketball. So definitely, I encourage, and not just alums, but even parents that are thinking, is it possible for me to send my student there? Come and check it out and see for yourself what this community is all about.
Yeah. One thing that's really interesting is Fresno Pacific guarantees you a 4-year graduation.
Absolutely.
So if you come, in 4 years, you'll be graduated. The average graduation time right now is 6.4 years across America.
Yes.
So if you go to another university someplace, it can take you 6 years or longer to get through. We'll guarantee a 4-year graduation.
Yep.
Parents, that saves you a lot of money.
Yeah, that coupled with all of the wonderful financial aid and scholarships that our students are offered. And I mentioned, I am an alum. My family position my mom and dad would not have been able to solely afford a private school education. But again, those scholarships that the university has to offer, I walked out with zero debt with my master's degree.
That's fantastic.
And so again, that's my encouragement to our students here in the Valley. You deserve a private, specialized education, and come and see what FPU is all about.
So you have a really good. How many do you have on staff?
In the advancement team?
Yeah.
There is a total of 11. We are growing, though. You need to check out FPU's website and check out the careers tab down the bottom. We are hiring right now.
Ooh, folks, you hear that? They're hiring for advancement at Fresno Pacific.
Yeah, so we're looking to expand our team as we are hoping to expand our fundraising efforts to to gain better access to all students in the Central Valley
Cool.
to our school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody who's graduated from Fresno Pacific should be contributing some money back, because what you do is you help advance what's taking place with the students, and you're actually doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the community, so the community is a great place. For example, educators, if we want a really great teacher, you're looking at Fresno Pacific University, and there are thousands of them throughout the valley. And what a great program. But they've got a lot of other programs as well
They sure
that are
do,
just
yeah.
top notch.
Yeah, Larry, I'm not sure if you know that this year we started our Master's in Social Work program. And as we know, our state and our country and the world is really being faced with a mental health crisis right now. And that coupled with a Christian education, you could not find a better
Christ
school.
in the workplace, baby.
Absolutely. Could not find a better school to come
Yeah.
and study social work. And of course, we have a wonderful MFT program, training our marriage and family therapists to go out.
Nursing.
And nursing. Yeah, a great nursing program as well.
And let me tell you, nurses are drawing the biggest salaries right now, and you can go anywhere in the world and get a job.
Yes, you sure can.
Well worth getting into.
Yep, I believe the graduation rate is 100% on your way out the door.
Yes. So you've got some hopes that the amount of money that comes in for the university is not only enough to sustain the operations, and that's always really good, but we've got a lot of buildings that need to be done. We've got maintenance that needs to be done. And every big university and institution has this. And we would love to have an endowment like Harvard with $29 billion
Absolutely. We could get there. Yeah.
Yes, and have that there, because you fundamentally change the entire operation of a community when you have a university like Fresno Pacific that is bringing ethics and character and Christ and all of those things to an education. You change what takes place for every neighborhood in the area.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what we're doing every day. And that is the importance of fundraising. We need to make our facilities top notch because our students deserve it. You mentioned Harvard, but our Central Valley students deserve just as quality education with the facilities as well. So that's, again, my encouragement to business owners.
I can't believe how fast this has gone. You got 15 seconds. What do you want to say?
Just want to encourage all of you to stop by, gather October 5th through 7th, and make your donations now and often. Thank you, everyone.
That's really cool. You've been listening to Powell to the People, where civility is always in style. My special guest today has been Liz Garvin, Vice President for Advancement for Fresno Pacific University. What a great hour we've spent together. Folks, be sure you hit that send button from Spotify, Facebook, or YouTube. Share this story because it's a great one. We're glad you've been with us. Catch you next week.